Hi, I'm Joshua Popenoe. Welcome. I assume you're here because you have some interest in or a real need to improve your English pronunciation. Do you need better communication with English speaking colleagues at work? Do you want less stress when you travel or live abroad? Do you have foreign friends who often ask you to repeat yourself? I know how frustrating that is. So I'm glad you're here today because I want you to know you can definitely improve your English pronunciation with the right training, and that's what I can offer you. I lived in Japan for 16 years as a professional voice talent and musician, and watching the struggles people have with English led me to create an original pronunciation training method that's extremely effective. So today, I'm going to answer your question, why is English pronunciation so difficult, and how can I really improve? Let's get started. What does it mean to be fluent? It means speaking well enough that we can understand and focus on what you're saying without being distracted by how you're saying it. What you want to communicate is the content, and your pronunciation is the form. We want our listener to pay attention to the content, not the form. You don't have to learn an American or English accent to do this. Your accent is an expression of who you are and where you're from, and that's a good thing. You just need to improve parts of your English that are hard to understand. So why is your English hard to understand? The human voice is made by breath flowing through the larynx, which then we shape into every language on earth with the movement of our jaw, tongue, teeth, and lips as it flows out our mouth. The movements and sounds of some languages are closer to English, so modifying that pronunciation can be easier. The mouth movements and sounds of Japanese, for example, are quite different from English. So when you speak English through your Japanese mouth movements, you get a Japanese English accent. Why is modifying pronunciation so challenging? Because speaking your first language is an unconscious skill. This is how we learn our first language. We start hearing our mother speak at least 3 months before we're born. We don't understand vocabulary, of course, but we're listening and feeling the rhythms, patterns, intonation, and emotion of our language. So we're born with deep physical awareness, ready to talk, and just have to learn how to move our mouth to make the specific sounds we need. Unfortunately, as adults, we can't do it this way again. So if you can't learn the way a baby does, how do you learn to pronounce a second language fluently? First, start noticing and feeling how your mouth moves when you speak, and one by one, learn the shapes, rhythms, movements, and patterns of English, and practice them enough to build new muscle memory. The unconscious physical patterns of your first language are so strong that simple listen and repeat practice alone doesn't usually bring lasting improvement. This is where clear instructions you can understand and follow are so important. The foundation of pronunciation practice is the master framework, the 4 elements of pronunciation. Every detail and technique necessary for good pronunciation can be organized into 4 elements. Using this framework to learn and practice any word, phrase, or sentence will ensure you cover everything you need to speak fluent English. The 4 elements are vowels, consonants, rhythm, and connection. We're going to practice each one individually. I'll introduce it and then give you a little chance to try it for yourself. We're going to start with vowels because vowels are the heart of every word. What are vowels? Vowels are open sounds. Try this. Say a, I, u, e, o. The shape of your mouth changes, but there's no physical contact inside your mouth. Vowels are open sounds in every language. A, I, u, e, o. No contact inside, right? How about English? A, E, I, O, U. A lot of complicated movement, but nothing is touching. The voice is flowing freely as we change the shape. Let's do a simple exercise that will show you 2 things. 1, how strong your unconscious muscle memory is, And 2, how one simple change can make a real improvement in your pronunciation. Look in a mirror and say the Japanese ah. Then say o. Watch how your mouth shape changes. Every shape, every movement makes a different sound. In English, the vowel sound ah is mostly used for the alphabet letter O, but when you see the letter O, your muscle memory pronounces it as the katakana o. So for this exercise, we will say each word with the Japanese pronunciation of o, then say it again with the correct English vowel sound ah. Repeat after me. Politics. Politics. Combat. Combat. Option. Option. Remember to relax your mouth completely, open. Don't change the shape at all. It's just like the Japanese ah. That takes no effort, right? But in this case, in English, it's for the letter O. So just relax and open. Don't immediately go into O with tension and pushing your lips forward. Let's keep going. Sponsor. Sponsor. Impossible. Impossible. John. John. Stop. Stop. Honesty. Honesty. Logic. Logic. Photo. Follow. Combination. Combination. Opportunity. Opportunity. Good. You just made a significant improvement in your pronunciation. English has 5 written vowels, A, E, I, O, U, but many more vowel sounds. So we need a way to identify the correct vowel sound in any word. This is an IPA chart, which shows you the phonetic symbol and basic mouth position for every vowel in English. You can see that there's a description of what the mouth shape is. Notice at the bottom, I've circled 3 open vowels. Practicing these 3 open vowels is the best way to begin developing the physical control necessary for every other pronunciation technique. Why is that? It's because they're so big that you can really see what's going on and easier to make these big new movements than try the very, very little subtle movements. So it really helps to start with these 3 vowels. And they're so far apart, the movement area is really big. Everything else you learn will be inside that. So these are the perfect way to start, and this is how I start teaching in my course. So let's try it. I'll give you a very, very quick lesson on each of these vowels, and we'll try some vocabulary. Okay, so the first one is ah. This is an open front vowel. Now, the way I like to teach this is starting with the vowel E, which is in every language. Everybody can go E. Notice the lip position when I say E. Straight. The top lip is straight, right? E. The tongue, the tip of the tongue is pressing down against the lower bottom front teeth or gum area line. E. See that? Try it yourself and see if you can feel that. Feel your tongue touching against the bottom teeth. E, E. And the top lip is straight. So now we're going to open to a big vowel, but keep the lip straight and keep the tongue where it is. Normally, you will automatically pull back when you open into ah, which is a middle vowel. But here, keep touching here, keep the lips straight. Repeat after me. E, ah. E, ah. One more. Spread, tip of the tongue touching, top lip straight. E, ah. Let's do a few words with this vowel. Black. One more time. Black. Pass. Bad. Answer. Smash. Examine. Now we'll move to the central vowel, ah. Remember, nice and relaxed, open, just like the ah in Japanese. But in this case, it's used mostly 99% for the letter O. So repeat after me. Hot. Shock. Don't spread. Keep it relaxed. Polish. Closet. Not. Honesty. And now for the last one. The best way to go into this vowel is from the middle vowel, ah. So watch my lips now. I have ah. I'm going to push them forward, and I'm going to extend them, flare them a little bit. Just watch one time. Ah, ah. Ah, ah. Notice how open it is. It's the same. For you, if you're Japanese, you would probably go ah, oh. Ah, oh. The lips would kind of close a little bit this way and oh. Notice in this vowel, the lips do not close. They stay flared. They stay open. Ah, oh. One thing that will help is put your finger here and keep it at the same level of the top lip. Ah, oh. Ah, oh. Notice it's the same level, right? You might want to go ah, oh. That's very common. Ah, oh. Pulling this down. Don't pull it down. Flare them out. Keep it at the same level. Ah, oh. Okay, let's try a few words. And again, really important to prepare your mouth shape before you start. If I start here, word is coffee, right? If I start here, coffee, there's going to be a change, coffee, as I move. These are called pure vowels, so the sound doesn't change. So I prepare the mouth shape before I open, like this. We have k, right? K, 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 coffee, and then I open. Prepare your mouth shape before you open and repeat after me. Coffee. Talk. Boss. Straw. Office. Longing. Good job. Let's try this sentence. Right now, don't worry about the consonants or the rhythm or connection or anything. Just the movements to shape these three vowels. Repeat after me. We'll go slowly at first. This coffee is not bad. This coffee is not bad. And the second half, it's hot, black, and strong. It's hot, black, and strong. Okay, let's do the whole one. This coffee is not bad. It's hot, black, and strong. This coffee is not bad. It's hot, black, and strong. Good job. Let's go on now. Next, we'll talk about consonants. What are consonants? Consonants are closed sounds, which means there is some kind of contact in the mouth made by the tongue, teeth, or lips. There can be a single consonant between vowels or multiple consonants combined in consonant clusters. Most consonants come in pairs, made with the same physical technique, but one is voiced and the other is unvoiced. For example, T and D. T is made by the tongue touching the roof of the mouth, holding the air back, and then releasing it, right? T, t, t. Is that voiced or unvoiced? T. No voice. So it's unvoiced. So what is the voiced partner for T? Make the same physical technique, but this time add the voice, and what do you get? Duh. Duh. So T and D are a pair. T unvoiced, D voiced. T, t, duh, duh. How about another pair? F and V. F is voiced or unvoiced? Unvoiced, of course. You're not using your voice. And if we add our voice now, it creates a vibration between the teeth and the lips and sounds like this. So, unvoiced and voiced. The last pair for now is K and G. What happens for K? For K, the back of the tongue rises up to touch the roof of the mouth and then releases it. If we add our voice to that, what do we get? G, G, G. So there are 3 pairs. Most consonants come in pairs, but there are a few exceptions. So try for yourself now. Say this sentence slowly and feel where there's contact inside your mouth. Change can be threatening. Change can be threatening. Is the tip or back of your tongue touching the roof of your mouth? Are your lips or teeth touching each other? Closing your eyes can help you feel more. And that's the essence of what we need to learn, to feel what you're doing. And as you feel, then you can begin to take conscious control of it and change your pronunciation. So it's always helpful to close your eyes and talk a bit and feel what you're doing. Then you could decide whether each consonant is voiced or unvoiced. So we're starting with ch, ch, voiced or unvoiced. Ch, unvoiced, of course. Feel your teeth touching. Then we have change, j, j, j. J is voiced, and actually it's the voiced version of ch. They're a pair, ch, j. Next we have can, starting with k, k. That's the K sound at the back again. Unvoiced. Then we have N, can. Can is a nasal consonant. What that means is tongue is touching and we're blocking the breath and voice from coming out of the mouth. So the nose opens and your breath and voice comes out your nose, if you can believe that. Try it. And you can feel it if you squeeze your nose while you're saying a long N. You could feel yourself blocking it off. Can. Then we have B. B, right? B is voiced. B. And then we have threatening, starting with TH, unvoiced. Of course, we also have a voiced TH. For instance, the letter the. Threatening. We have a T, and then I'm moving to the nasal consonant N, but I'm doing a special technique, threatening. It's called a syllabic consonant. I can't teach that to you now, but come study with me and you will learn it. Listen to how it really sounds. Threatening, not threatening, threatening. The word ends with NG, which is also a nasal consonant. Back of the tongue comes up, touches the roof of the mouth, blocking the voice coming out of your mouth, so the voice and the breath has to come out the nose. As in the word sing, sing, right? Nasal consonant. The whole sentence again. Change can be threatening. So for today, I just wanted you to feel the contact. These are closed sounds, all the consonants. All right, let's go on. Rhythm. I love talking about rhythm. Try this sentence after me. Math is really complicated. Math is really complicated. Rhythm comes from syllables. So step 1 is learning to recognize syllables. Every spoken vowel and the consonants surrounding it make a syllable. Think of closed and open sounds again, and it's easy. The consonants are closed sounds, vowels are open sounds. So it looks like this. Math. Close, right? Math is really, whether it's a big syllable or a small syllable, it's an open sound. Really, the vowel at the center is open, consonants are closed around it, making this shape. Complicated. 4 syllables. Closed, complicated. Math is really complicated. In any word or phrase, determine which syllables are stressed and which are unstressed. Identify each syllable in multisyllable words and determine which is the primary syllable and which are secondary syllables. Every longer word will have one primary syllable and one or more secondary syllables. You can see in the word complicated, the one that I lifted up is the primary syllable. So listen how that sounds. Complicated. If I did it the opposite, complicated, that would sound weird. Complicated. It's complicated. You can really hear the difference of stress in that. The stressed syllables in any word or phrase make a steady, even rhythm, which I call the rhythm frame. Tap the rhythm frame with your finger to keep you moving through the phrase at a steady, connected, flowing place, the way natural English is spoken. Let's try tapping now. Math is really complicated. Math is really complicated. Notice the evenness of the rhythm frame. Dum, 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 dum. Math is really complicated. Got that? Rhythm frame is really important. When we listen to fluent speech, we don't focus on each word alone because single words don't communicate a complete idea. Words join together to make phrases that carry meaning, and we distinguish phrases through rhythm, connection, and intonation. That's the music of language, and I love the music of language. Let's try these 4 examples, tapping the rhythm frame with our finger. Repeat after me. The rhythm of English is really important. The rhythm of English is really important. Notice how steady and even the rhythm frame is. One more time, because the rhythm of English is really important. After me. The rhythm of English is really important. Let's move on to the next one. 2 short sentences. Each one makes a separate rhythm frame. That was a long meeting. Time for lunch. That was a long meeting. Time for lunch. One more. That was a long meeting. Time for lunch. Now the next one sentence, 2 phrases. Pay attention to the intonation, which comes down after the first phrase. That's how we understand these words go together, these words go together. Looking at this sentence, if you need to discuss it, that's a complete thought, right? And the second one, you can call me next week. So the music of language helps us to gather what's important to go together. So listen to the intonation and see how you do that. Of course, in the middle of a sentence, it doesn't go all the way down. The end of a sentence, it goes down farther. That's music. Repeat after me. If you need to discuss it, you can call me next week. If you need to discuss it, you can call me next week. One more time. If you need to discuss it, you can call me next week. Okay, one more sentence. So here I want to point out a little more how the blue dots, the stressed syllables, make a steady rhythm, and the little black ones, the smaller syllables, have to fit in between. So what does that mean? If we're keeping the same beat with the large syllables, then the little syllables, if there are a lot of them, have to move faster. For instance, prime minister, prime minister, right? There are no little ones in between. So we take our time, prime minister. But then we have two of them. So watch this. And we're starting with a little one. So our fingers up and we hit down. We're tapping down for the first stressed syllable, right? The prime minister made an official announcement. The prime minister made an official announcement. You can hear the steady, even rhythm of the rhythm frame, and the little ones, depending on how many they are, go faster or slower. This is why learning connection and learning flowing and all is so important, so that you can connect these little syllables without chopping them up. After me, the prime minister made an official announcement. Now, one more time, because I really like the rhythm of this sentence. The prime minister made an official announcement. All right, very good. Let's go on now. Finally, connection, the fourth element. Learning connection is important because the pronunciation of individual words often need to change to connect smoothly with other words in phrases and sentences. Let's look at the sentence I've written down here. I've got to get a job before the end of May. I've got to get a job before the end of May. So what I want you to pay attention to here at the first half of the sentence are the T-stop and the T-tap, both important connection techniques using the letter T. Normally, when you think of T, you think of t, t, time, touch, right? We're touching and blocking the breath and voice, and we release it, time. Now here, what a T-stop is when T comes at the end of a vowel or the end of a syllable or word, we stop the first part. We do not release it, but we move to the next letter and we release that one. In this case, the next letter is T as well. Listen to what it sounds like. I've got to. I've got to. I'm not releasing the T. I'm stopping it and moving to the next letter. I've got to. What if you said, I've got 5, I've got 3, I've got 9? All of those. You heard the stop and then moving to the next consonant. So the next thing is the T-tap. This is where you have a stressed vowel, T, and then an unstressed vowel. So instead of stopping and releasing or just making a regular T, this has to flow fast because you have a big syllable to a little one. And so a T-tap is where we let the tongue very, very quickly just glide along the roof of the mouth to make a very, very light sound, even lighter than a D. Listen to this. Getta. Getta. Not get to or get to. Getta. It's very, very light. I've got to get a job. Here are the 2 T techniques that are really important in one little phrase. I've got to get a job. I've got to get a job. T-stop, T-tap. The second half of the sentence, before the end of May. Notice how I connect the end. You all learned in school that the before a vowel is pronounced the. Here's why. We need to connect these 2 syllables smoothly. The, or the, in this case is unstressed, and end is stressed. If we break the end, it's very choppy. So we want to connect it. A native speaker would always connect these 2 words. So the pronounced the, E, right? So we use the Y connection technique, which you may never have heard of before. E, if you push it up a little bit higher, it becomes Y. Y is a glide consonant. Y and W are glide consonants. They're the only 2 consonants that don't actually touch. They glide. So if I go the, yeah, that's a Y, right? Yellow, young. So I'm pushing up to Y, and then I'm opening to the next vowel, in this case, the end. So I can glide, keep it connected, but we hear 2 syllables clearly. The end. The end. The end of May. The end of May. We could open to any other vowel we want and stay connected. The opera, the overcoat, the egg. In this case, end. The end of May. And the last thing I underlined is end of, because here's a case where you might break again, end of. And again, going from a big syllable to a little syllable. If you break, it's very choppy. End of, end of. We would always connect that. So just let your voice keep flowing. End of May. End of May. Let's try this sentence. I've got to get a job before the end of May. Notice two phrases. I've got to get a job before the end of May. So you can hear a little bit of intonation change that helps us gather all of the words in a longer sentence, phrase by phrase. Try one more time. I've got to get a job before the end of May. Okay, let's move on. If you enjoyed everything I've been teaching you and maybe you're thinking, wow, I get it. I can do this. Are you ready to start improving your English pronunciation? If you're interested in learning and practicing the 4 Elements framework, you're invited to join my Master Course membership. It includes over 100 original self-study training videos and a weekly live Zoom session. Here's how I encourage my students to learn. I'm going to read from my notes. Early in the week, I send out a PDF of a sentence for you to download. Page 1 looks like this. Here's the sentence. The question is not, what can I expect from life, but rather, what does life expect of me? The challenge is to apply the 4 elements to this sentence. First, try to identify which syllables are stressed and which are unstressed. Then choose the IPA vowels using the chart above. Are you familiar and comfortable with the consonants in this sentence? After that, think about where you might need to focus on smooth connection. Finally, consider the intonation and phrasing of the sentence, and tap the rhythm frame as you practice. Here's page 2 with all the details. It may seem complicated at first, but these are the steps to clear, easy to understand pronunciation. And the Master Course comes with a complete video library that will teach you everything you need to know. In my weekly live session, we practice all of this together. Want to try it once with me? Let's do this. Repeat after me. 4 phrases now. The question is not, what can I expect from life, but rather, what does life expect of me? And tapping the rhythm is really helpful. Each phrase has a different rhythm frame. Repeat again. The question is not, what can I expect from life, but rather, what does life expect of me? Good job. So, what are the benefits of a live Zoom practice session? The amazing benefit of a Zoom class comes from practicing while on mute. Questions are welcome, and everyone benefits from the feedback and coaching I give. If you practice the whole time, you will get a real pronunciation workout. Based on the challenges of each week's sentence, I recommend which training videos to watch and practice with. Each class is a standalone session, so you don't have to attend every week. You will get a recording of the class to study with at your convenience. The membership includes over 100 self-study training videos that teach every aspect of pronunciation, so practice whenever you want at your own pace. Details about the Master Course are at the end of the video. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this was interesting and you learned a lot. You did get to try some useful pronunciation techniques, and I'm sure that will be helpful to you. Finally, if you've struggled with English pronunciation and speaking better is important to you for any reason, then when you're ready, let me help you achieve the fluency that you want. You can speak much better than you do now. And remember, it's not magic, it's movement. Here are the details of the master course. Hope to see you inside. Take care.